choke you, but I ain't no killer, baby. 28, telling me I'm still a
Come on, Danny.
That's for you, Dan.
That's for you.
What's this?
You don't know this Jack Harlow song?
No, I don't even know who Jack who?
Jack Harlow.
No, I don't.
Love It On Me.
I don't know him.
All right.
I'm more of a rock guy.
Yeah, no, I understand. I always
By the way,
have
there's
to
a lot
go-
of great rock coming out lately.
I got to go find, like, I have to once in a while find out what's going on in the pop world.
Yeah,
It's everywhere. It kind of gives me the pulse of what you know,
totally.
what the younger society's doing. I kind of dig it.
When
And
I
I
go
like
back-
this song.
When I go back and announce games at Fisher, I have to ask the kids upstairs. I go, okay, so who's cool now? It's Kanye.
Yeah.
Is he still cool? No.
Jack Harlow did the remake of White Man Can't Jump
Yeah,
on either Netflix or something.
Yeah, I saw
it was
that they remade
Netflix.
it.
Yeah, was it Netflix?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't remember the thing. Sandra Dorley has been the district attorney and has been in the district attorney's office for decades.
Yes.
I think she became the first female district attorney in 2012 and then switched parties in 2015 and then got reelected and has held the position ever since.
Yeah, I was wondering because I thought she was a Democrat. Then she became a Republican?
She did, yeah. She
Okay.
switched parties, which isn't uncommon. I think Mike Green had been a Republican and switched to be a Democrat, and when he became DA, and it's I don't know.
Sometimes that happens in pockets where,
Well,
like,
when you live in a county that's predominantly Democrat, you
Right.
want to ascend into a political position. You know,
play the
and
game.
again, the parties, as ridiculous as this may sound, are so close when you come into it and you
Yes.
think about it.
Yes.
It's a matter of, what do you want to do? How do you want to achieve your goal?
So, yeah, and she was, I believe, she was Mike Green's kind of right hand person.
She was
during his time there too. So. She, last Monday, the 22nd, she's driving home. It's about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening. She's on Phillips Road. She's doing 55 and a 35. She gets lit up and continues to drive to her house. And then gets out of her car. And at first, I think there was not a lot being done
by
about
lit up,
this.
hold on, back up. By lit up, you mean the lights?
The lights.
Okay,
the lights.
because like some people might interpret that as something else. I just wanted to- okay.
She got lit up, the lights, because she was doing 55 minutes. She was 20 miles over the speed limit, right? So I think at first she said, it's a speeding ticket. I paid it already. It's no big deal. And people kept pushing, and then the body cam footage came out. And it doesn't look good. So it's 20 minutes. And I watched it on YouTube on my 50-inch screen at home. And I laid on the couch and I watched it and I went, wait a second.
These cop cams are in HD now, bro. It is amazing.
I know Sandra Dorley. I've known her, I've met her, I've spent some time with her. She's a lovely lady, works very hard, handles a lot of ugly cases from Monroe County. Fair?
I know Sandra. She's a great public servant. I
Yes.
mean, she truly is. I mean, I give her a tremendous amount of credit because she could be doing a lot of other things and making a lot more money than she's doing.
So I got a lot of people asking me, I can't wait to hear this discussed on the podcast. So I didn't want to pull the full 20-minute thing, and a lot of it I even sped through because it's the cop sitting in his car, but he winds up calling for a supervisor. She's on the phone with his chief when he pulls in her driveway. It gets ugly. I'll play you the 3 minutes on TMZ. We can pause at any time, but you'll hear this. She has pulled into her driveway. Her car is now in her garage. The garage door is open.
Sorry, I'm the DA. I was going 55 coming home from work.
55 and a 35.
I don't really care.
Okay.
So you can call Dennis.
Can you please come over here? This is on a traffic stop, ma'am.
Yes, it is. You can call Dennis Kohlmeyer right now.
Okay, I'm telling you why I stopped you. You didn't stop at all. Did you not hear my lights or sirens or anything?
No, I didn't actually. I was on the phone.
Okay, well, you're not supposed to be on the phone while you're driving either.
Yes, I am with the hands-free. Absolutely.
Okay. Why are you so upset at me? I'm doing my job. You just admitted to me that you were going 55 and a 35 on Phillips Road.
Okay, so then write him the ticket.
It's
Officer Christopher. Can you stay over here, ma'am? This is a traffic. This is a legal traffic stop. Do you have your ID?
No, it's in my purse. Here.
You have your purse right there.
No, this is my lunch. Would you talk to Dennis? This is ridiculous. Just go away.
Hello, sir. Good, ma'am. Can you please stay at the back? This is legal traffic stop. Can you please stay over here?
No. Hey, baby, get your little guy out of here.
The dog
Sir,
comes out. She's got the dog.
I stopped her for going 55 and a 35 on Phillips
On
Road.
Phillips Road.
And
coming
she
home from
failed
work.
to stop. She drove all the way back home and parked in her garage. And now she's not complying with any of my commands. Ma'am, do not go inside.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
She had a bad day.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Ma'am, come outside. You can't just go inside. This is a traffic stop. Here's your phone
I
back.
understand the law better than you. Would you just
953. Can you have a supervisor come to the scene?
No. Get out of my fucking house.
Oh.
All right. So it goes from there. I wanted to get to that point just to play.
Oh.
So now the Rochester City Council wants the district attorney investigated by Attorney General Letitia James, and they've all signed a letter. Now, I believe they're all Democrats, but I don't know that.
They are.
I believe they are on City Council. So my first thing on this, Greg, was people are calling for a resignation. We can't have this. This would be an arrestable offense for a citizen who
No, it wouldn't.
tried to get in their own driveway. And I don't.
No, it's a traffic stop.
Yeah, but if you didn't pull over and comply,
If she
and
didn't
went to-
know, if there's no
Yeah.
intent. It's a traffic stop is a traffic stop until there was and again, Steve Sirk, could answer this much better than I.
Yeah.
But unless there's some intent to defy or to evade, then it then escalates to evading, which is an arrestable offense
Right.
as opposed to a traffic stop.
Yeah.
Now she said I was on the phone. It is not illegal to be on the phone.
No, it's not.
It is not.
So-
And for me, and I hate to say this, is that when you're dealing with certain individuals or have certain temperaments and they project things that aren't really accurate, and you've had a bad day, you become defiant. I mean, her personality in that respect was somebody who was aggravated and defiant.
Yeah. Well, look, I took this as somebody, she talks in there, the whole body cam footage is available. You can watch it. I watched it on YouTube. It's about 26 minutes long. And she, just like anybody in anger, you give yourself 20 minutes and the adrenaline drops and you start to go, all right. And I think she apologizes. She says,
I'm sure she wants it back.
she'll pay. She's already paid the fine.
Sure.
She says, I'm the one who's going to prosecute this anyway, or whatever you do to it. She said, and she said, I've had several murder cases today. That's what I've been handling in the city.
Again, a bad day.
I got you. So I chalk it up to a bad day. I don't like to see somebody who knows the inner workings of the DA's office as well as she has for as many years as she had. I don't think we just kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't. However, as you think about this, you go, this is all anybody's going to remember. And the citizens all want our higher ups to act as though the way we would act. And I think many people feel like if they tried to do this,
The way we think we would act.
well, yeah, or the way we think, right? The way we think we would act. Good, fair.
Because I'll
that's
tell you
probably
what.
a better way.
Can I
to
just
say
say
it.
this?
Probably. Go ahead, Dan.
4 out of 5 people who say that would have
Yeah.
reacted the same way she
Yes,
did. I guarantee
that's
it.
what I was just gonna. What I was gonna say is that
Guarantee it.
most people, dealing with my clients, our clients, the likelihood of people would be responsive in a traffic stop the way she responded.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, look, give me. I've had a long freaking day.
Yes.
Give me my goddamn ticket, or
Right.
why'd you pull me over? Cut me a break, and if the police officer comes up and is not as, it has a little bit of a, I don't want to say attitude because he seemed more.
She said to him at one point, you can run my plates and see who I was. He goes, I didn't run your plates. He said, I had no idea. He said, I just had somebody who wasn't pulling over. So I decided to keep following you until I could get to you. I didn't understand what was happening. She goes, well, I'm on the phone with your boss going, why is this guy pulling me over? And she admits I was doing 55. And then she says, I thought you were going after somebody else. There were a lot of cars on the road. She sort of contradicts herself. These are all the things that I think citizens are going to see. And I'll ask you, and I'm so glad you're here, having courtroom experience and having done things with juries in the past. As somebody who's going to be represented by her, let's say she's the prosecution usually in a case, would anybody can you find an unbiased jury? Can you find a jury that doesn't look at her and go, well, this is somebody who thinks they're above the law? And is that something that would almost, in a way, be detrimental to her being able to do the job as well, just in terms of public opinion. And it's everywhere now. I mean, this audio I got off TMZ. It's in the New York Post. It's everywhere.
I personally don't think that this compromises her ability to do her job.
Right.
Okay. Not in terms of like even a jury looking at it?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for her to get a fair jury, I think her job, her role, period.
Yes.
Even if she didn't say the thing she said, she could never get a fair jury.
Okay, just because she's the DA.
Because she's the DA.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and again, to me, I mean, this is not.
You don't know who's got a relative that's been prosecuted
a criminal
by
offense. This is not a criminal offense.
No.
This is a traffic stop
on a Monday evening.
Now,
after a long weekend.
Right.
After dealing with the stress and all the stuff that she has to deal with. I mean, again, knowing Sandra as I know her and knowing her personality that's a bad day.
That is what I really did. I thought it was a bad day. And then I just want to, I'm going to read something that was sent to me.
Because I've seen her in so many other circumstances which are not always complimentary or lack of stress or lack of issues. And she's always got a very calm, controlled perspective and demure. So, there's a lot of influences on what can change your personality in terms of like a day like that, dealing with what she has to deal with. And then someone who, she probably, and again, the tone of the officer's voice, I've been pulled over once or twice. And when I've had a police officer that has the tone of voice that he has, I probably get defensive as well.
Yeah, he's.
I don't say
trying
you know
to
who
be,
I am. I've never said that.
Well,
I would never say that.
She did that. They get now all of a sudden the DA superiors come out. One guy's in the garage and he's kind of going, Sandra, you should have just pulled over. You know better. Don't tell me you don't know better. There's not a lot you can do. But I want to read this. This is from Lynn Mazurkowitz. Officer Mazurkowitz was killed in the city.
Yeah.
Okay. And she said, if you have never heard of Sandra Dorley before now, consider yourself lucky. It probably means that your family has never endured the agony of a murder trial. But for those of us who have, we know that this woman walks through hell every day to ensure that the victims see justice.
Yes.
She fought for our family, and I will forever admire and respect her. I am grateful for her care and love during our trial and would pick her every single time. Until you have seen the worst of the worst every single day like she has, don't be so quick to judge. She had a bad day. She's human. This was not her shining moment. Judge her not for 30 minutes of her life, but for all the good she has done. But I am one person that you will not see rejoicing in her downfall. I felt terrible for her, and only because I kind of know her, and my immediate thing was, bad day, but you cringe when you hear say the guy, get the fuck out of my house.
It's tough to watch.
It's very tough. Cringe a little bit because you go, come on, I know you're better than this. And yet at the same time, I've never had to deal with a murder case. I've never had to deal with
let alone like several.
Look, I am no saint, and I don't deal with murder cases.
Tell me about it.
I'm kidding. There's a lot of people that can second that motion.
I'm kidding.
But I think of this similar to what we deal with in my office is that you have clients that are more difficult than others.
Yeah.
And when you get off the phone with a couple of clients in a row that are just difficult, right? They're cantankerous, they're miserable, they don't listen. You do everything you can to explain, to answer their questions, and they just don't get it. And they don't get it not because they don't get it, it's because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear what the reality of things is. And then you just get frustrated, and that temper just kind of, then it builds when you have a number of them and you don't have a breath to take. And then you don't act, you don't make good decisions. And when I think of what I heard in that, it's if she didn't have a confluence of circumstances, as I'm sure she had that day, she would have handled it very differently.
I agree. And I know that I felt like maybe I was going to be in the minority, honestly. Not necessarily with you being here, but I think for most people, because I saw some of the stuff on social media.
Yes.
I saw the comments, and I did see the behavior. I saw it. And I know how people, we want those who are elected officials to be better than that and to not be like us necessarily. Yet at the same time, I want a president I can have a beer with. No, you don't.
No,
you really don't.
No,
So that was my thing. And as I looked at it, I go, boy, this is a bad day and not a good moment. And if it were 10 years ago, we don't see it.
No,
we
true.
don't see it.
And
what she said is, I paid the ticket and it's over. Then it's just rumor.
Yeah.
But now, unfortunately, we have proof, and you can go back and you can watch it over and over and over and pull apart everything you want.
I think in the era of cancel culture with social media, because I saw some of the media tweets about this stuff, and yes, it was hard. It was hard to watch. I get it. It was rough.
I only pulled the TMZ thing just because that's
Condensed.
Condensed and national.
National, yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere, right? So you've got to.
Because the beauty of social media is that everybody has a voice, but the curse of social media is that everybody
Has a voice.
Yeah.
right? And because everybody has a voice nowadays, we're all self-righteous experts. And because of cancel culture, and because somebody does something that we disagree with, we immediately target them as an enemy. And I'm telling you, choose your enemies wisely, okay? Because they're not your enemy. They made a mistake.
So
we
we
want perfection. And I'm sick of it.
Well, I want somebody who's got some experience in there. I don't like the cancel culture period. And
right.
I also, if the idea is to make society better,
right,
then give the person an opportunity to say, I was wrong.
So the other thing about the DA is that one of the things that Sandra has done is that most DAs are administrative roles. She actually practices law and actually prosecutes them.
She does.
And because she has that compassion for the family. She wants to be that person for them. That is not the norm. That's not the way
That's
it
interesting.
usually works.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that at all.
Very rarely. In fact, in Howard Rowland, who was a tremendous district attorney, I don't know how many murder trials he did. I mean, there are people who are in the legal community that could tell you probably off the top of their head. But my recollection when I saw it on the TV was probably less than 5 in his 20-plus year career. He was still a great public servant. He did phenomenal things in the DA's office. Yeah. But he was an administrator because that's usually what the role is. Not only is she an administrator, because that is part of the responsibility, but she actually gets in to help victims.
So she's rolling up her sleeves and getting her hands
passionate about that stuff.
And I'll tell you what, going back to our points, it comes down to this. Heaven forbid this woman loses her job and the governor appoints somebody. If you're in favor of that, of her losing her job, Rochester, I don't want to be your neighbor. Because she's protected this community in this county for so freaking long. And before that, of course, you had 2 great DAs before her. And they've passed the torch. And she's done an admirable job. And she's beaten cancer in the process of doing it, too. And if you want to use this as just one incident we've heard about with this woman, it just happens to be on national television, your worst day. If that's her worst day compared to some of the other politicians in this area, guess what?
I'm glad nobody's caught me on my worst day.
Greg, as I'm watching this, I go, boy, of all the shit we're going to focus on that needs to be fixed, we're going to go after her for this. Is it a good look? No. You can never say that.
I think she would admit that.
I think she does. At the end of the tape, if you watch it, she says, she goes, she does say, I'm sorry. She does say it to the officer.
But we got to stop canceling people because guess what we're going to end up? We're all going to be canceled. We're all going to be screwed.
Yeah, I mean.
Just interesting that it's making, it went beyond. It went beyond our local media. It went.
Well, first of all, when you have the title that she has, the scrutiny that you're under.
Yes.
It's come on.
Yeah.
And I recently went, social media.
Oh yeah.
Right? I confessed recently I've had some significant anxieties about social media and about doing certain things on social media or posting things or like sharing certain things. And one of the reasons is because of stuff like this.
Right.
Well, sharing
because
even
things
opinions,
don't work
right?
out.
No,
right?
they don't.
Things don't work out.
And people misinterpret.
And then they bash you, and then all of a sudden they call into question character and decision making and all these other things. And you're like, I'm just trying to be me. I'm just trying to be a sincere, genuine person. But I check myself because of the consequences that if I do it and it's not right and it offends someone, or if it doesn't work, all of a sudden I'm going to get all this backlash. And I don't want it for me. I don't want it for my family. I don't want it for the other person. And this, Chandra, she couldn't control the messaging.
This she couldn't. She couldn't. And I wonder.
But the power of this is what, for me, when you have someone like her or you or me or even Dan, it's like it can catch a tsunami of misinterpretation,
100%.
which can then just destroy something you built and worked on your entire life.
Oh yeah. I know what it's like. I've had it happen to me.
Yeah.
On social media. Because of something I tweeted that was totally taken out of context, and all of a sudden I got people at ESPN like calling for my head.
See, here, Sandra Dorley didn't go on social media and say she got a speeding ticket. It came out that she got a speeding ticket. Someone then investigated. I'm sure someone foiled for the body cam footage, and then we get to see Sandra at her worst. So that's where all our attention is. Tell me any day. You know what that is? That's your wife getting pissed off getting out of the car. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean to minimize or point fingers, but it's anybody. Let's say you said the wrong thing, or any one of us, or make it a husband getting out after a bad day. How many times when I was married, I walk in and go, I don't even give a fuck. I don't care. So now I get a ticket on top of that. Oh yeah, that's a good day. Oh, that's a good day. So that was my first takeaway. My second was, and that's why I was glad you were here, was. Does this hurt her in performing her job? But maybe she doesn't go in the courtroom for a little while. I don't know if she can be more of an administrator. Who knows?
I don't think it impairs her ability to follow the law and to prosecute a case based upon the evidence.
Right. I just wonder. You know how people are. And I sometimes think we have more mouth breathers than thinkers. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, definitely.
Greg, I really do. So
and in fact, a part of me,
I'm not going to give this woman anything.
In fact, a part of me makes makes her more human. You know, one of the things about performing the job she performs is that you become, I don't want to say immune, but you don't feel certain things because you see it so much.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And you create barriers because feeling in the pain and the anguish of the victims' families, I mean, that's a heavy burden. That's
Talk
a
about
heavy
some people
weight.
at their lowest moments,
Oh.
like the worst moments.
Right.
That's when you're there. You're called in to help. And as
And
Mazurkiewicz said, if you don't know who she is and you've never had to deal with her in her legal capacity, count yourself lucky.
Well, you know, and I think for her, you know, when you think about the victims and their families in that torment and that anguish, I mean, I'm sure Sandra's feeling that anguish and torment of her own because of the circumstances.
I'm sure.
And having that and understanding that and making it real and having that compassion, but also having the passion to make sure that you're accountable. Look, I have no doubt she's taken full accountability for her actions.
Yeah.
She didn't commit a crime.
No. She paid.
She took her responsibility. She was accountable for what she did, and she's moving on.
Right.
Now, had she then, where I would have had an issue, is if she would have contested it and she would have argued it. That I would have said, look, now you're trying to pull your weight.
She did not. She did. She said, I was doing that. I was. And the guy said.
So she's holding herself accountable. I mean, in terms of public servants, the thing that drives me batshit crazy is that we have politicians that lie, that don't take accountability.
No.
And some of them are in extremely powerful positions, but they don't have that self-awareness. They don't have that community consciousness of taking accountability for themselves. She did that. Now, was it done in a manner that makes you cringe? Perhaps, but again, everybody has a bad day. Everybody has some bad moments.
I think we have to call it right there because it's not like she was, drinking and belligerent.
Right.
She was frustrated. She admitted it more than once. She was speeding. I got it. And so to me, it's I'd hate to see her resign, but there will be now. I'm sure. I don't know if there will be or not. That's not fair to say. They wrote a letter asking for an investigation.
Okay.
Investigation into what?
You saw
I'm going, it's 26 minutes.
Right.
Where's the investigation into what? Is this a pattern of behavior? I don't think so.
Well, okay, they're going to investigate it, and they're going to report exactly what is shown and what we heard.
Yeah.
So are they going to recommend consequences? That's not their role.
I don't know.
That's not their role. Ultimately, the people who are going
would the AG be the one to hand down consequences if there were any? Like, would there be a suspension for? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if there is a code of conduct or responsibility for DAs that are different from attorneys. I know this as an attorney. If that happened to me,
yeah,
my license isn't in jeopardy. I didn't commit a crime.
Okay.
You know, I pay my fine. I pled guilty. It's not an actual offense.
Right.
And I go on with my career.
Okay.
You know, it's.
My fear is that the governor could just use this as a power play and say, I'm going to appoint somebody else.
Well, it does worry me, too, that we
That
get on
scares
the
me.
political lines a little bit, but I'm not sure if that's
The
going to be
thing
the
about
case.
Sandra is that her office, and again, Steve Serkey would know more about this than I would, but they don't seem to run political lines in
don't.
terms of prosecution. The crime is the crime, and the people who commit it are the people who commit it.
It's usually very fact-based.
Very fact-based, and it's very, you know, it's very statute-driven. And, and I've never, she has, in my interactions with her and the people who I know that deal with her a lot more than I do, have never identified her as having any political agenda in terms of prosecuting crimes.
No.
Never.
Nope.
Never.
All right, we'll take a moment on that. It just was making headlines everywhere and something that I wanted to see. And
Well,
I'm
people-
so glad you were here because I thought, can she now get that fair? It's a bad look. Let's move on. It was a moment.
Well, people are texting me this morning. I'm in church. Hey, you going to talk about this?
The thing is that, well, this is the bottom line. There is no, she pled guilty, I'm guessing,
Yes.
to the
Yeah.
Yeah,
to the
she paid
charge.
it.
She
Yeah.
paid her fine. She move on.
Yeah.
That's her debt to society. That's what she's done. Just like you and I.
Yep.
Now, can she continue to do her job in the same capacity with the same character and integrity and fitness that she has?
I believe
I
she
have
can.
absolutely no doubt that she can.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt.
All right, we'll take a moment. We will tell you the story about a mother and son. And I just wonder, as all of us here are sons to somebody, would we do this for our moms? We'll get to it next. But first.
Can't wait. Can't wait for that one.